Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ahmed Nawaz. A terrific lineup once again that we've got for tonight. I'll be introducing what we're discussing first, and then we'll move on to our guests. So let's take a look at what the lineup is for tonight, and we're going to carry it on from there. We're of course going to be starting with big news where Pakistan has announced its squad for the Test series against Australia. This squad will be captained by Babar Azam. A lot of names in this squad that obviously possess the experience as well. At the same time, we've got a youth balance. It's a 16-member Test squad that has been announced. We'll be taking a look at that. A call-up has been given to Rauf, which is interesting. We'll discuss that in detail. But Shan Masood makes a comeback for Pakistan in the opening department as well. So I think that is a good omen. Shan has really worked on his technicalities, and I think he's a much more solid and a much more technically sound batsman, or a batter as you want to say it, than he was before. So I think it's a good comeback for him. Spin bowling, I would have liked to see more options, probably a wrist spinner in there, but obviously Pakistan Cricket Board and the team management have other plans. So that's my personal opinion. I'll have my guests comment on that. What the experts say is obviously what you want to hear. Obviously in the reserves, we've got some cushion as well, where we see Mohammad Abbas, Kamran Ghulam, Sarfaraz Ahmed also part of that reserve squad, and then Naseem Shah also in the reserve. So if you've got to make some changes due to some certain issues, you've got enough cushion in the reserves as well. So we'll be discussing all that in detail. Remember, Australia is coming. It's a series after 24 years. It's a tour of Australia. First Test match at the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium on the 4th of March, second in Karachi, third in Lahore, and then 5-1 international and 1 T20 in Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium as well. So we'll be discussing about that in detail. After that, we'll be moving on to the Pakistan Super League, where we will be talking about the Super League, which starts from tomorrow again after a 2 days break. It is now Qazafi Stadium, Lahore, where the Lahore leg begins from tomorrow. We'll have all the action live on PTV Sports High Definition HD. Sultans will take on Zalmi in the opening encounter of the Lahore leg, but conditions will be different. We saw a couple of videos where we saw the dew playing an important role. So that means that the toss will have more importance, and we also saw certain bowlers trying to bowl, especially Usman Qadir, with a wet ball. So I want to know from my experts, what does it mean when you have to bowl in dew? Certain things will come into perspective, the target total as well. We also saw Babar Azam practicing some low bounce shots as well. So I think certain things need to be discussed as far as Lahore is concerned, but the opportunity for the teams to probably come with a new redemption. After that, we'll be moving on to football in our second segment, and we'll be discussing the English Premier League in detail. A lot of action. Newcastle had the better of Everton. Manchester United ended in a draw. Very disappointing for them. Top four was a thing that they were aiming for. And then also other games that we want to discuss as well in detail. So that'll be our second segment. Time now to introduce my guests. First of all, in studios, I've been joined by a sports expert. Cricket is his forte. We're getting him on as a cricket expert these days, and we're getting a lot of insight from him as well. He's bringing a lot of stats. But obviously a very avid golfer himself as well, and I've just been told that he's now the #1 coach when you talk about golfing in Pakistan. The very fantastic, the expert who's joining us, Imran Janjua. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum.
Good to have you on the show, sir. We've also been joined by our cricket expert, cricket commentator, and these days, like I always say, very much in demand over social media as well. You can gauge him. Does have a lot of insight to the game, and will be obviously taking a lot of expert opinion from him as well regarding things that we're talking about. Cricket K. Asif Ahmed is joining us. Assalamu alaikum.
How are you, sir? Assalam. I'm good, thank you, Ahmed. How about yourself?
I'm very well. Good to have you on the show as well. Now, regarding the squad, first of all, I think Pakistan's squad is there in detail. We've got a report on that. Let's go take a look, and then we'll come back.
The Pakistan Cricket Board has announced its Test squad comprising 16 players and 5 reserves for the upcoming home series against Australia. According to Pakistan Cricket Board, 3 changes have been made to the national Test squad after the Bangladesh tour. Rauf has rejoined the squad and replaced off-spinner Bilal Asif. Meanwhile, Shan Masood has replaced Abid Ali. Yasir Shah has been added to the reserve pool. The Pakistan Cricket Board further stated that the Test cricketers who are not playing in the ongoing Pakistan Super League Season 7 will gather in Karachi next Wednesday to participate in a training camp at National Stadium, Karachi. The Pakistan Cricket Board confirmed that Saqlan Mushtaq will continue as head coach for another 12 months, while it also announced the appointments of Sean Tate as fast bowling coach for 12 months and Mohammad Yusuf as batting coach for the Australia series. Earlier, Cricket Australia announced an 18-member Test squad for its Pakistan tour, which will take place in March and April 2022, and will also include 3 Tests, 3 One-Day International, and 1 T20 International.
Right, that's all you need to know about the squad that has been selected. Babar Azam will lead the squad. A 16-member squad has been announced. Shan Masood is making a comeback in there. Azhar Ali is also there as the experience is required against a team like Australia, which is coming from the back of a tremendous victory in the Ashes against England. So they've got the experience, we've got the youth bulge. Let's see on home conditions how test matches will go, because remember, 24 years since the last series happened, Mark Taylor was captain and they did beat us in the test series as well. So time for redemption and time for Babar and his boys to make a statement. Now Imran, first of all, your overall thoughts on the squad that has been selected.
So first of all, congratulations to the whole of Pakistan, the whole of Pakistan cricket. It's a great news, and the news is not just that it's a series of a team like Australia is coming to not just Pakistan but the subcontinent after long years. 24 specifically Pakistan, and even the last tour that they did in India was a long way back also. But the great news is that the Australian team, which we were expecting that a lot of players may pull out because of two factors: security, of course, and second is IPL. For the first time ever in cricketing history, the whole squad has committed not to go to IPL, and this shows exactly that what national, wearing a national badge, national honor, and representing the national side. So I think not just the Australian side, but I think one can take a leaf, anyone, including Pakistani players. We had some experience in the past where people opted for some of the other leagues rather than playing for the Pakistan cricket team and focusing there. So I think again, congratulations to both of you and the whole of Pakistan cricket fans that Australia have committed a full squad and they are coming in. And they'll be missing David Warner and six other players. They'll be missing first initial 5 or 6 matches of IPL. And missing IPL means a lot. So I think it's great news for PSL. It's great news for Pakistan cricket. And I think the momentum which has been going on, and let's hope and pray that everything goes on well. And I think we all as Pakistanis need to get behind the Pakistan Cricket Board and all the security agencies.
Definitely.
And together,
yes.
Together we need to hold a tournament of this stature that the whole world shall come to Pakistan once again.
Definitely, that is the case, and I think very aptly put by Imran Janju as well, that it's a moment to celebrate that Australia is coming to Pakistan, and I think rightly so. Every Pakistani deserves the applaud, deserves the congratulations, and I think the Pakistan Cricket Board Chairman PCB Ramiz Raja, but at this moment I think we should also appreciate the role of the former Chief Executive of the PCB, Wasim Khan, who I think was instrumental when you talk about Pakistan's diplomacy efforts towards other countries, for Pakistan Cricket Board specifically, the way they were able to engage with these different cricket boards. So I think Wasim Khan, wherever he is, definitely deserves a due share of that credit as well. But obviously coming to the squad itself as well, K. Asif, your thoughts on the squad? I mean, certain good combinations there, but obviously certain players who have missed out.
Yes, exactly. Well said. And for me, 2 players are, to be very honest, the surprising picks. And one of them is the Abdullah Shafiq, and the other is Haris Rauf. And that Kamran Ghulam is playing such a fantastically in domestic cricket, around 900s and more than 30 50s. The average is really good, around 40, 48. So, and on the other side, if we talk about Abdullah Shafiq, only played 5 first-class matches, though scored a couple of centuries there. He started well in Bangladesh. But the point is that if one guy is performing in domestic structure, why he's not in this national squad? If you're picking your play, especially we talk about the test cricket, and you're playing against Australia, very strong bowling lineup, batting lineup, and you're coming up with this youngster who played only 5 first class, this has always been a question mark. On the other side, if we talk about that, we know that the Australia, they do not struggle against the pacey bowlers, against the fast bowlers, or if you're a genuine speed. They always struggle against spin, and this is the time that this is our home series, and of course that will be setting all the pitches on our strength. So I think Abbas is missing there. Mohammad Abbas should be in the squad. This is my thinking, because he's genuinely a swing bowler. You can see his in-swing, out-swing, and on all the cutters as well. So I think the experience is missing in the fast bowling and batting as well. But the other side, good thing is Shan Masood is in the side, because he performed tremendously in domestic cricket. He's performing excellently in T20, in PSL as well. So I think I'm telling you right now that we'll be missing Abbas in our fast bowling squad. So I think Haris Rauf is still there. I like him. But if you see, recently is not performing well. So there's a question mark, and his coach Aqib Javed always ask him for the speed. You know that, and speed always disturb your line and each and everything. If
Australia loves speed. We've seen that in the
yes,
past.
you know
as well.
how could you miss that if you are bowling against David Warner and you would be worried about your pace? Not at all.
He would want you to ball pace.
Yes,
so
yes.
you can probably take it to the crease. But
Exactly.
I think that's a very technical point that Asif has raised. So Imran, I would like you to comment there further that if you talk about certain picks, I mean, Abbas has been your go-to bowler in conditions where there's not much swing. So, you know, he'll bowl line and length, he'll bowl wicket to wicket and he'll pick up wickets. But now he's in the reserve and you're bringing in Haris Rauf, who's had I think a tremendous run in the limited overs format, and I have to appreciate him for that. But certain bowlers, you know, maybe are okay for limited overs. Tests might be just too much.
Okay, so there are various ways of looking at it. You got to see that first of all, let's start from where I left, was that the full squad is coming. All right, so Australian drubbing of England. All right, they're coming with the best form they could have, you know, after 24 years. Now coming back to the Pakistan team. Now what I feel is, first of all, congratulations to Siqlan Mushtaq. He's been handed over a 1-year contract, and I think he's the man for the job for various things. I'll explain it further, including Asnan, because he used to work with Asnan. Asnan is the future of Pakistan cricket. And so coming back to the, you know, I'll try to analyze all the facets. For example, let's start off with the bowling side. Now the bowling side is that now the matches are happening. One match is happening in Rawalpindi, the other one is happening in Karachi, and then Lahore. Now, when you see the behavior of the pitches, you know, the season right now, the weather conditions, and the strengths of each side, and then the mindset of Siqlan Mushtaq and Babar Azam. So what I feel is that this, and including Mohammad Wasim as the selector. Of course, Abbas I would have liked, but if they have not picked him, you know, they have a certain angle to it, and I think he's not fully gunning for the test series. What they have done is that they have brought in Haris Rauf. Now what is happening is that because of the weather conditions and the docile pitches that we had, Rawalpindi and Lahore, they are always fast tracks when it comes to Karachi. Okay. Karachi, you will see, that's why you have few more, spin bowling. They have the strength there. So in Karachi, you'll see a different side. In Rawalpindi and Lahore, primarily they'll be playing the similar sides. For example, 3 quickie plus a bowling all-rounder. You know, so that's how they will proceed. Maybe one spinner, depends on, you know, Lahore maybe. But Rawalpindi, it's generally always been, you know, fast track.
I think that's a brilliant point, that in the recent times we've seen Pakistan has developed a strong bowling core strength as well. So maybe if our batters can probably provide some cushion, bowlers can take it. But Asif, very quickly, one final question, and then we'll move on to other topics as well in segment. Where is Tabish? You know Tabish? You remember him?
Yes. Do you remember that he has a fantastic record in domestic cricket?
Season, yes.
And when we talk about and when we upload good things, we must criticize on the bad areas as well. We have watched a video that Mohammad Wasim, chief selector, has been calling to Tabish that Tabish, aapne ghabrana nahi hai, we've been dropping you, don't worry, you'll be back inside. You know, we have watched this. And was that an eyewash? We haven't watched this
Debut
video.
at 37 years. Yes.
Yes, and we haven't watched this video for Bilal Asif and Abid Ali. Where is Abid Ali actually? Because according to my sources, he's perfectly okay. He's fine, and according to my sources, that his health is fine, and doctors have said him that you're okay now and you start your cricket. And he's training from last couple of weeks, even last couple of months. He's all right. So I think that, yes, the one last thing.
Yes,
and last thing is that Mohammad Wasim, chief selector, if you're making videos calling to Tabish, please make more videos as well.
So he can make another video telling Tabish that, okay, Tabish, best of luck for you.
Yes, I mean, this
probably
is,
that can happen. But on that note, I think we've got more to talk as well about. I'm very, I think, intrigued in this, but let's take a look at our segment recap. We discuss Pakistan's 16-member squad that has been announced for the Test series against Australia, being led by Babar Azam. Shan Masood makes a comeback. Haris Rauf also part of the squad. We see Naseem Shah, we see Yasir Shah as well, and we also see Mohammad Abbas and Sarfaraz Ahmed, who have been given the reserve category. So I think all in all, a young side, fair bit of experience. Azhar Ali also in there. Would like more, but in the weeks to come, I promise you, we'll bring you more content on this as well, and we'll get a complete show if we can on the Test squad. But now moving on, the Pakistan Super League is something that we need to discuss in detail, because the league now moves to Lahore. It had a very successful run in Karachi, and I think the Lahore leg, once it's going to go on, you'll see that action will be there as well. 19 matches, including the finals and the playoffs that we talk about as well. Multan is leading the points table. We've got a report on the entire Lahore saga that's going to continue. Let's take a look and then come back.
A spectacular news for cricket fans in Lahore, as the National Command and Control Centre has allowed 100% capacity crowd for the Pakistan Super League Season 7 matches from February 16th. An important meeting of the National Command and Control Centre was held under the chairmanship of Federal Minister Asad Umar, in which it was decided to allow full spectators to participate in the Pakistan Super League matches in Lahore from February 16th. Meanwhile, 50% of the crowd will be allowed till February 15th. The vaccination would be mandatory for spectators to enter the stadium. However, children under the age of 12 would be allowed to enter the stadium without being vaccinated. Previously, only 25% of the crowd was allowed for the matches in Karachi. The matches at Qazafi Stadium will start from February 10th.
Right, the Lahore leg is about to begin from tomorrow, but we have to talk about the conditions that will be changing, because obviously in Karachi it was something else. Now we've got videos coming in where the dew is playing a major role in Lahore. So the toss gets, I think, more important than the toss was in Karachi or ever the history of the PSL. So Imran, what would you like to add now going into Lahore? Obviously we discussed before on various platforms the top performers and everything. But now going into Lahore, as you were just talking about the conditions in Lahore as well, what can we expect from the PSL in Lahore?
Well, the PSL has come to Lahore. The last we ended up with that it's a tournament between three captains. However, we said it's not going to be any dark horse. But how about Jason Roy coming in and finally beating Lahore the way and chasing such a big margin. So this shows exactly that T20 one player can really come and dominate the opposition regardless of what the captain is, what the strategy of the other team is, resources are. So I think we would have liked Lahore to come to Lahore with a winning with a winning streak. But I think it's again a good reality check for a young captain.
But do you think Lahore's got a good record in Lahore? Well, you want to see that?
Well, the point is, as I look at it, it's primarily the guile of Rizwan versus the leadership of Shadab. With the experience that Shadab has had, internationally and domestically, versus a young captain, and the young captain has performed well. But young captain has performed well because nobody has put them under pressure. So this is the first time in Karachi, if you've seen that one player coming in with the likes of Jason Roy and dominating. So it's a good preparation for the Lahore dugout to see exactly that what exactly went wrong. That after scoring so much, when you go into the final stages of the tournament, one innings or one match can really, do the trick for any team.
Yeah, create a difference. And talking about somebody who's made a huge difference in this year's PSL, it's been the top all-rounder and the top wicket taker, that is Shadab Khan. We've got a report on him. Let's take a look and then come back.
Islamabad United skipper Shadab Khan is having one of his best PSL seasons this year. Shadab has been impressive both with the ball and the bat. Shadab has mesmerized fans with his exceptional all-round brilliance. Shadab is currently the leading wicket taker of this year's PSL. He has been exceptional with the ball, ensuring his side can rely on him for match-winning performances.
What an effort that is!
After playing 5 games, the leg spinner has clinched 14 wickets so far.
It's perfect leg break. Walking down the pitch without any care or attention whatsoever.
Shadab has managed to register a 5-wicket haul and 2 4-wicket hauls in the last 3 games. Cricket lovers have seen Shadab's best performances with the bat this season. The United skipper has managed to score 186 runs at a strike rate of over 182. The 23-year-old has been the strength of Islamabad's middle order, and he has registered his career best T20 score against Multan Sultans, scoring 91 runs off 42 balls.
Got under that one. That's a really good shot indeed. That's beautiful. Cries of catch it. What about this one? Nope, that's gone all the way for 6. Giving himself some room and working that around for a boundary to start.
Apart from that, Shadab also tops the list for most sixes this season.
Well, as if ordered. Well, he's got another go at it. This time much more controlled.
I mean, look at that shot selection, but somebody who's equaled the amount of shot selection there and improved is Fakhr Zaman. Let's take a look at Fakhr and then we'll come back.
Lahore Qalandar star batter Fakhr Zaman created history during the 15th match of the Pakistan Super League. Fakhr became Qalandar's highest scoring batter in a single season after he scored a 45-ball 70 against Quetta Gladiators at the National Stadium. The left-handed batter scored 3 half-centuries and a ton in the ongoing 7th edition of the PSL to achieve this milestone. Fakhr Zaman has totaled 356 runs in the first 5 fixtures this edition, with an average of 71.2 runs. Fakhr Zaman has been the key performer for Qalandars this season. With his ongoing tally of 356 runs, Fakhar Zaman stands as the top scorer of this season so far, followed by Shan Masood and Mohammad Rizwan.
Right, there you have it, the top two performers that we are witnessing who have really, I think, gone guns blazing. Well, K. Asif, first of all, Shadab Khan, ability in batting as a batter. Let's not talk about the bowling. I know they will move to that. But as a batter, how technically improved has he been?
Really important, when you're a captain and you're performing well and proving that you're an all-rounder, it's been always fantastic and you enjoy yourself. And one important thing is that people do not talk about his fielding. For me, he's the best fielder, no doubt about it, and no doubt there that he's the best fielder in the Pakistan side. And when you're enjoying your fielding, of course that you're concentrating on your batting and bowling, of course. So according to my sources, that nowadays he's concentrating on his batting and spending a couple of hours just hitting and making big shots. That how you could hit big shots. And Paul Sterling is helping him, Alex Hales is helping him, and their head coach Azhar Mahmood is there. He's been a fantastic coach. So once again, credit goes to Shadab Khan, and honestly, the individualism once again count there. That how important, how you are giving time to your abilities, how you are telling your captain that, how you're telling your coach, yes, I'm special.
I can do it.
And I'm not only with the ball, but the bat and the fielding.
I think tremendous. Yes, tremendous indeed
yes,
as well.
Yes.
But Imran, this is a new, I think a fairly new concept that Pakistanis now understand is the ability to power hit. So, being a golfer yourself, you can better comment on the technique of that swing and everything in between. But how well do you think he's improved?
Quick thing on the golf, I'm not the best coach. Right. I've just started my golfing career, so I need all the wishes and prayers. Come back to Shadab. I would like to start off with Shadab in that way that, it's sometimes your leadership translates into your batting, fielding, and overall prowess.
Okay.
And sometimes, and the other side of the coin too. Sometimes your all-round ability, makes you grow as a leader. So he's not just grown in as a leader. He's coming back after the injuries, and he has an important part to play. He's been vice captain of the international side for Pakistan also. But what he has done is look at Nawaz now. I would like to touch upon what exactly happened in Quetta Gladiators match. Everybody had ruled Quetta out, but Nawaz has come in and he chipped in. Sarfraz for a change did allow him to come in at a position where Nawaz could come in and chipped in. And that allowed Quetta Gladiators to win and chase such a big margin against Lahore. So I think what even I've been saying it, leader to leader, bowler to bowler, it's inspiration all the way around.
But at the same time,
spinners
Imran,
to spinners even.
But you can also comment then, because once we're talking about Shadab, what would you like to add about Fakhar Zaman? Because he was known for being an aggressive player, but threw his wicket away. But that's one area where he's worked on this season.
I think there are three players. Fakhar Zaman has grown in. The name tag that you carry, the brand that you carry, all right. And there are a few players, including Asif Ali and Fakhar Zaman. Asif Ali, today's Asif Ali is what Fakhar Zaman was for Babar. When people used to say that he's not performing, but Babar and the dugouts used to say that he's a one-match player, and he did it against India. Definitely. K. Asif has done it against, Muhammad Asif. K. Asif will do it.
K. Asif has done it against everybody.
Okay, so coming back to M. Asif, yeah. All right. So M. Asif has also done it against India. So M. Asif has to prove himself going further into the league. Coming back to Fakhar Zaman quickly, I think he's growing. Shan Masood, another guy which has tremendously improved. And this shows exactly to the whole of Pakistan. Anybody who's playing anyone, domestic cricket, PSL and everything, here's a guy who goes to South African Gary Custon Academy when he's not performing, So once you sweat more, once you work hard more, the results are right in front of you.
It definitely shows. But K. Asif and Imran Injua, thank you so much for joining us on our segment.
Pleasure.
We wish we would have had more, but I think that covers it all. But before we go towards a short break and I give you the recap, we've got a report on what the points table looks like. Before we move on to Lahore with all the action from tomorrow onwards, let's take a look at who's leading the points table.
Multan Sultans, who won their first ever PSL crown last summer, have emerged as the best performing outfit, having won all 5 of their matches in the tournament so far. Multan's ascent to the top of the points table is hardly surprising, considering that the team is captained by the informed Mohammad Rizwan, who was recently named ICC T20 International Cricketer of the Year. Trailing Multan are the trio of Islamabad United, Lahore Qalandars and Quetta Gladiators. Surprisingly, Quetta, who have been one of the most consistent teams in PSL history, have had a subdued start, having won just 2 out of their 5 games. Quetta has suffered a setback after their star pacer Mohammad Hasnain was suspended after failing a bowling action test. Below par showings from ageing stars like skipper Sarfraz Ahmed and Shahid Afridi haven't helped Quetta's cause either. Below Quetta stand Peshawar Zalmi, who are 5th on the points table, having won 2 out of their 5 games. But if Quetta and Peshawar are bad, then Karachi Kings have been at their worst. Unable to exploit the home advantage, Karachi have lost 5 matches on the trot. Even their captain Babar Azam, Pakistan cricket's biggest star, has failed to inspire Karachi, who are now on the brink of elimination. The competing teams have now moved to Lahore for the final PSL leg. Multan will be looking to preserve their lead, while Islamabad, Lahore and Quetta will hope to catch up. For Peshawar and Karachi, it will be a question of surviving the initial stage and qualifying for the playoffs.
There you have it. Time now to take a look at our segment recap of this segment, what we've discussed. We have discussed the fact that the PSL is now moving on to Lahore. All the action tomorrow from the Gaddafi Stadium. We'll witness all of that. It's going to be a cracker once we move into Lahore, but obviously things will come into perspective. Also the points table, where Multan is leading, Karachi is at the bottom of the table, so they've got to make it up as well. And I think the highlight of the segment has to be K. Asif against India. You just have to love it, because Asif will always be K. Asif whenever we talk about him. But that'll be that. Let's go to this short break. Stay tuned, because we'll be right back with football. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now for our football segment. We're hanging on to Imran Janjua, and in studios joining us with Imran is our sports expert, football youth coach, and particularly talking about football tonight, my co-host as well. We've got Sabil Sachal Hazir. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum Assalam, I'm doing very well.
Great to have you on the show. You seem to be having quite some fun off the show now. Time to have the same fun on the show.
Definitely with Imran Bhai here, I'm sure we're going to have a great
Definitely. We've got some good things coming up. Let's take a look at all the action that you want to know about from the English Premier League.
Manchester United tumbled out of the Premier League's top 4 as Jay Rodriguez first. United dominated the play and had most of the chances, with Paul Pogba putting them ahead with his first goal of the season. But just as against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup, the visitors were made to pay for their profligacy. Burnley made the most of their brief spell in the ascendancy at the start of the second period, as Rodriguez ran on to score his 100th career league goal. It means United dropped to 5th, with the 3 teams below them all capable of catching them if they win their games in hand, whereas Burnley are 4 points from safety. On the other hand, West Ham United moved back into the top 4 of the Premier League table after beating Watford 1-0 at the London Stadium. Jared Bowen grabbed the only goal of the game in the 68th minute to keep the Hammers' Champions League dream alive, while Newcastle United secured a crucial 3 points in their bid to avoid relegation from the Premier League.
Right, there you have it, all the action of the English Premier League that we will be discussing in detail. And I think fate has it that I must start with Manchester United. Sabil will always have a lot of fun whenever he gets to know that I'll be on that side of the world. But Sabil, what would you like to add?
All right, so let's talk about United. There's a lot of problems there. I think generally, and the people who've watched this show, and you will back me up when I say this, I've been kind. I haven't been too harsh. I've been getting harsher as the weeks go on. But the last 2 games have really made it hard to be kind at all. You drop out of the FA Cup in embarrassing circumstances. Yes, Ronaldo got his penalty saved, right? But this is what I mean about the over-reliance on him. The shootout, obviously the game didn't go the way they planned at all. You're relying on one guy to score penalty to win your game. That's not how it works. And without him, the issue is without him, they're even worse. Because I think the 5 or 6 games he hasn't started in, they don't win. They either draw or they lose. So without him, they struggle to win. I think they would have like 21 or 22
But would you do that? When you've got an impactful player, do it.
Yeah, exactly. You start him all the time. We've been saying this. But the issue is even when he's playing, there's an over-reliance. So when he's not there, there's a problem. When he is there, it's a problem because people are relying too much on him. And I really, genuinely cannot feel worse for Varane. Because, look, imagine you're in this situation, right? You're a World Cup winner, multiple-time Champions League winner, one of the best centre-halves of your generation. And you see Harry Maguire right next to you. And I've been kind to Harry. I've been very kind to Harry Maguire. I think the price tag has caused more problems than his actual playing. But Look at the goal West Ham scored. Genuinely, sorry, West Ham, I apologize.
Burnley.
Look at the goal Burnley scored. The way he gets turned inside out there, why are you pressing? McTominay is making the space to cover. Why are you pressing there? And then Rauf's chasing back. And at that moment, I don't know what's going through his mind.
You know, I've opened my cupboards and I'm getting 2 posters out. One is Glazers out and one is Harry Maguire out. I cannot have it more, but I'm glad that Imran Janjua is still here so he can share some of that grief. I mean, we've lost the glory, but I don't know what's happening. Imran, your comments on what Manchester United has been going through.
All right. First of all, football is huge. Now here is another lesson that no player could be bigger in any sport, could be bigger than the club or the team. Now here is another thing. No team can be bigger than the sports itself. So the number one brand in the world, like taught in major universities all across, the management style, the success formula, all right, all across. That is Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United.
Yes.
But Manchester United fans, including myself, we've been suffering, for after Alex Ferguson. But this is what exactly succession is. Like I say, the teams had a rock and roll for 20 years, 20 championships, beating Liverpool, and then going on such a longer run. Now, so many coaches being changed, a lot of players being coming in. Varane, Pogba's, a lot of big names have come in, a lot of names have left out. So, but what is important is that English Premier League, it's the biggest league in the world. All right, the pace with which the teams play. But I think this new coach. I think he won't be here for much longer. Just like if Mourinho didn't have a bigger stay, because you may see. I think all of us are now expecting, just like what Mohammad Rizwan is doing in cricket, probably Sir Alex Ferguson to come back and like Siklan Mushtaq, and even we didn't touch, by the way, Mohammad Yusuf. I would like to congratulate. I know it's not the segment, but congratulations to Mohammad Yusuf to come back and join Siklan Mushtaq. Coming back to I want to talk about more on the coaching side and how Manchester United can really come out of it. I'm sorry, we do not have any clue. How the team can come out of this, what they have been in for the last 5-6 years.
No, definitely. Well, Sabeel, I fairly understand that we cannot have another Alex Ferguson. I know that ship has long sailed. But trying different managers, now getting Rangnick in, and Rangnick has often said that there will be problems, we need to address them. We would like to see this from a long-term perspective as well. But once we try seeing it from a longer perspective, for example, with Solskjaer, fans did think that, okay, let's take it for a long run, but then the change was made. So it's uncertainty at United, you would believe.
Yes, with Solskjaer, there was definitely there. I think we're all aware, we spoke about this on the show multiple times, that Rangnick came in to eventually take a technical role.
Yeah.
He was just taking his managerial role for the time being because obviously there's nobody there. I've said this before, at the end of the season, he will probably take that technical role and somebody else will come in to be a manager. So that's what the long-term game plan is with him. As for United finding a manager, there really needs to be, I think Solskjaer was just to get the fans happy because you bring back an ex-player, people are very excited about it, he gets a few results and it buys you more time. That has to stop. The transfer policy really has to change. Because again, the transfer policy and the managerial changes they're bringing in, it seems like you're just trying to stop the fans getting angry for just a little while and then in an emergency going and trying to find a solution. That's not how it works. They need to sit down, look at the options they have, and having Rangnick for the next few months makes that easier because he's taking that technical role at the end. You have these months to just let him see out this season and then bring in somebody else. So do your research, bring in the right guy. You are Manchester United. The transfer policy and recruitment policy is abysmal. Look at Newcastle. They brought in, they just got money and they brought in Trippier. And look at the way he's playing.
And he's made a difference.
Yeah, look at that. Almiron, he took him a long while to get a goal, but he started playing well straight away.
I think that's very interesting because I think the way United handle things, and Imran, you can comment on it further, that they go with the tide. So they got Louis van Gaal, they had Mourinho, they bought everybody they could get their hands on. I think only one left is probably Wayne Rooney, who wants to make a comeback as a manager.
It's Conte. Just the Manchester United fans, mainly the team management, the Glazers, they are praying they could have had Conte right there, before if Spurs, Conte can get the Spurs in the top 4. Now United are out of the top 4. So it's a brand like Manchester United, or as a matter of fact any team, not playing the Champions League, it's dooms. I think what is important is that United has to fight, for the Champions League spot. Top 4 is minimum because they are already out of the FA Cup. And I think going forward, what is important is that everybody. Right. I would just like to touch upon what he was saying, that I think everybody it's a pudding altogether. You know, everyone has its own objective. There's no synergy from Glazers starting with the technical. There's no technical guy there.
Right.
And this current coach, as he said, was supposed to be the technical guy.
But I think the hashtag will remain the same because Glazers out. But Sabeel, very quickly, we're out of time now. Newcastle also obviously would be there, but we've got other games to talk about as well. If you could quickly wrap those up.
So Newcastle, obviously Everton brought in new
Yeah.
players. It's going to take time for them to mesh and get the results. They're in worse straits than Newcastle because Newcastle, I think, have a lot of positivity with the signings they've made. So we're starting to see them pay off. As for the other game, West Ham obviously in the FA Cup, they've realised now that just being a top team doesn't mean you run teams over. They grinded an FA Cup result against a lower league team, and now they've grinded out a result in the Prem at the top as well. You know, as long as you're winning games, that's all that matters, and they're doing well still. Credit to West
Definitely.
Ham. United dropping out gives them a big chance.
But thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on Sports Extra. That's all we have time for. And just to give you a brief, we discussed about the English Premier League in detail and all the action that took place. We'll join you tomorrow once again from me and the entire team. It'll be goodbye for now with a segment recap on your screens. That's all we have time for. Catch us tomorrow once again.